The sound of wooden sandals echoes through the narrow streets of Kyoto. You're 5 years old, clutching your mother's sleeve, not realizing it's the last time you'll ever hold it. A tea house matron greets her with a smile sharp enough to cut silk. Coins clink, hands part, and just like that, you've been sold to the dream. Your new home smells of incense, rice wine, and quiet rules. The older girls whisper that you're Shikomi now. A trainee, a servant, a shadow with potential. Your first lesson? Bow lower. Your second? Smile longer. The Okasan, your mother, tells you obedience is beauty. Translation: tears are forbidden, hunger is discipline, and freedom is expensive. At night, you lie awake listening to the click of Geisha shoes in the hallway, each sound a reminder that even sleep must be graceful. You dream of your real home, but in the morning, you bow again. Because here, even dreams belong to the house. You don't know it yet, but you've entered a world where silence is survival and beauty is the most profitable kind of pain. Morning begins before the sun dares to rise. The paper doors slide open and a sharp voice cuts through the dim light. Up, Shikomi, you kneel, still half asleep, and begin your daily ritual. Sweep, serve, and vanish before anyone notices you exist. The house runs on silence, and every sound you make is a mistake waiting for punishment. You learn quickly that the Okasan doesn't need to shout. A single glance can freeze blood. When another trainee drops a teacup, the entire room holds its breath. The porcelain shatters, but the silence shatters louder. That night, no one sees her at dinner. You don't ask why. Your body becomes your teacher. You memorize every bow, every step, every graceful lie. 3 hours to learn how to kneel without pain, another hour to learn how to smile without emotion. You fail often. You cry once, only once. The next morning, your tears are gone, but the lesson stays. At night, you practice walking in the dark, balancing a tray that's heavier than your pride. You whisper to yourself, silence is safety. By morning, you no longer need to whisper, because by then, silence has already learned you. Years pass, and you finally earn the right to stop scrubbing floors and start pretending you belong here. You're now a Minarai, an apprentice allowed to watch, listen, and imitate. Your new job? Become invisible in plain sight. The older geishas glide through the tea houses like spirits. You follow them, carrying trays heavier than your patience, studying every flick of a fan, every tilt of the head. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny, flatter men who can barely stand, and somehow make humiliation look elegant. You don't understand it yet, how charm is just camouflage. When the doors close, the makeup comes off. The same women who made nobles melt sit in silence, exhausted, their faces marked with the ghosts of the masks they wore. You see the truth? Beauty isn't power. It's a performance no one dares to stop applauding. You start practicing your own mask. The soft smile, the graceful turn, the perfect laugh. Each one costs a little piece of honesty, but the Okasan nods approvingly, which means you're finally doing it right. One night, you look at your reflection in the mirror. The girl staring back doesn't blink. That's when you realize she's better at being you than you are. The day begins with the smell of rice powder and nerves. Today, you're no longer a shadow. You're stepping into the light. The Maiko transformation begins. Layers of silk wrap around you like armor. The kimono's weight feels like a promise and a warning at once. The makeup artist whispers, "Don't breathe." You don't. Not until your reflection disappears beneath white paint and crimson lips. The first time you see yourself in the mirror, you barely recognize the girl staring back. She's porcelain, perfect, untouchable. She looks calm. You feel terrified. When the doors slide open, every eye turns to you. The shamisen hums, the lanterns flicker, and the air thickens with expectation. You bow, step forward, and the room holds its breath. Every movement is rehearsed, graceful, slow, deliberate. You smile when told, laugh when expected, and pour tea like it's sacred water. Somewhere between the gestures, you stop thinking. You've become a painting that moves. Later that night, the Okasan praises you. The guests applaud your natural charm. You bow again, knowing there was nothing natural about it. Because here, perfection isn't who you are. It's who you learn to pretend to be. The night you come of age isn't a celebration. It's an auction wrapped in poetry. The house smells of incense and ambition. The Okasan tells you it's tradition, a sacred passage, a moment of honor. You know better. You've seen the way the men whisper your name, the way silver trays clink with offers. They call it mizuage, the ceremony that marks your purity, sold to the highest bidder. The priests say it's symbolic. The men say it's privilege. You say nothing. You sit still while they decide your worth in numbers you'll never see. When the choice is made, the room bows. You bow too. Not out of respect, but to hide the shame burning through your painted skin. That night, the kimono feels heavier than ever. The lanterns blur, the music fades, and you realize something cruel. The dream you were sold into has finally collected its payment. The next morning, the Okasan congratulates you. She says you're now a real woman, a real geisha. You smile just as she taught you. But deep inside, you understand the truth. You didn't lose innocence tonight. You lost ownership of yourself. You've become what they all dreamed of, a living legend in silk. Your name drifts through Kyoto like perfume, whispered in tea houses and printed on invitations. Men compete for your attention, poets write about your smile, and the Okasan counts her fortune every time you step into the street. You glide through the night like a lantern, beautiful, untouchable, doomed to burn out. The power feels intoxicating at first. One glance, one laugh, and nobles rearrange their schedules. You speak softly, but every word shapes reputations. The city bows to your illusion, but fame, like perfume, fades the longer it's worn. Behind the laughter and shamisen music, the truth hums quietly. You eat less, sleep less, smile more. The rouge on your lips hides exhaustion, and the white paint conceals everything else. The mirror becomes your only honest friend. It never lies, but it never comforts either. Every night ends the same. The guests leave, the lights dim, and the applause echoes in your ears long after silence has fallen. You remove your ornaments one by one, hairpins, ribbons, the mask, until nothing remains but a tired woman staring at her own myth. And for a fleeting moment, you wonder who created whom, you or the illusion. It starts quietly. A missed invitation, a whispered rumor, a new face in the tea house. The world doesn't end with a storm, but with fading applause. You smile through it, of course. You've spent years perfecting that. But the guests laugh louder at younger voices now. Their compliments sound more like farewells. The Okasan grows cold, her praise replaced with balance sheets. You are no longer the house's brightest jewel, just an expense with memories. Your fingers tremble when you paint your lips. The red doesn't look the same anymore. You try to dance as you once did, but the rhythm feels unfamiliar, the music impatient. The lantern light is cruel. It highlights everything time has touched. One man calls you elegant. You know he means older. In the dressing room, the girls whisper, not with malice, with fear, because they see in you their own future, wrapped in silk and silence. You want to warn them, to tell them beauty is a currency that always devalues, but you don't. Instead, you bow, as tradition demands. Because even as you fade, grace is still required. And in this world, even decline must be performed beautifully. The city has changed. Neon signs glow where paper lanterns once flickered. The tea houses stand quieter now. Fewer guests, fewer songs, fewer girls who remember your name. You walk through the alleys in plain clothes, unseen, unbothered. Once people stop to bow. Now they pass without looking up. You catch your reflection in a shop window. The faint outline of someone who used to be worshipped. No powder, no silk, no mask. Just a woman with tired eyes and memories too loud for silence. Sometimes tourists ask for stories about the old geishas. You smile and tell them what they want to hear. That it was all beauty and art and mystery. You don't mention the cost. At night, when the street's empty, you visit the old tea house. The stage is gone, replaced by dust and echoes. You kneel where you once danced, whispering names only the walls remember. For a moment, you see them again. The laughter, the light, the painted faces that time has stolen. Then the vision fades, the room falls silent, and you realize you've become the ghost haunting your own legend. They find you one morning sitting beneath a cherry tree, your hands folded neatly in your lap. The petals drift down like snow, covering the wrinkles the years refuse to hide. The neighbors say you looked peaceful, as if you'd simply fallen asleep while remembering something beautiful. There's no grand farewell, no crowd, no applause, only a breeze carrying the faint scent of incense and spring. The world moves on, as it always does. The tea houses fade, the songs disappear, and your name becomes another verse in a forgotten poem. But legends have a way of lingering. The tourists still whisper about the graceful ghost who walks Kyoto's backstreets under the moonlight. Some swear they've seen her reflection in a darkened window. A woman in white smiling softly, as if keeping one last secret. Perhaps it's just a story, or perhaps beauty never truly dies. It only learns to live quietly, between the silence and the sigh of the wind. Because in the end, your greatest art was never the dance or the song or the painted smile. It was learning how to disappear beautifully.